All right, the Titans just had their first look at Cam Ward in this new offense. I want to see what Saleh has to say. I want the good, the bad, the ugly, and most importantly, does it match what we saw on the field yesterday? Let's get to it.
You know what? I like the way we came out. You know, the first couple drives for the defense I thought were good. I know they got a couple first downs there, but overall just kept points off the board. The last drive, you know, we unfortunate losses in one-on-one situations, but overall, just from as a group, ones, twos, and threes, just I thought our defense did a really nice job, and then. You know, offensively, really cool drive to start the game with that 95-yarder, and then from there, just never looked like we really settled in. But was really excited about the way we ran the ball, and then obviously on defense, thought the way we defended the run was pretty good.
How'd you feel about?
Yeah, that was good. That was a good starting point conversation, keeping things relatively positive because at the end of the day, it is just one preseason game, and you did come away with the dub. The interesting thing here to highlight, Stribling for the 49ers, their rookie receiver looked really good. He had some nice explosive plays, was catching the ball well, 7 receptions, kind of crazy. And he focused on the positive. That first drive for the Titans did end in a touchdown. And so the reporters and everybody else kind of has like a negative thought process in their mind, but I like his angle here of how he's trying to attack this press conference. I'm sure that will change.
About Cam's decision making after the initial drive.
Yeah, you know what? We'll go back and look, and I've got to talk to Dayball still. It felt
Wait, do y'all
like
hear that?
his
Let's go back a little bit.
Feel about Cam's.
Never looked like we really settled in, but was really excited about the way we ran the ball, and then obviously on defense, thought the way we defended the run was pretty good.
How'd you feel about Cam's decision making after the initial drive?
Yeah, you know what? We'll go back and look, and I've got to talk to Dayball still. It felt like his decisions were right. It just felt like he was a little bit sped up more than he has been in camp. You know, it's first time live bullets. I'm not sure, but it looked like his mechanics were a little bit more sped up than it has been, and which is good because we can go correct it, and which is what the preseason's for. But I'm sure he'll look back at it and see that the protection was pretty good, and he could have went through his process a little bit better.
I don't know if y'all heard it, but right when he started answering that question, dramatic ass sigh. That was one of those, here we go. The thing is, he's a young quarterback, and Saleh's answer through that entire period just made sense. Young quarterback, new offense, he's moving fast through everything. And so he needs to realize, hey, you have protection. You actually have more time than you think you do here, so you don't have to rush it. That's how you end up going 5 for 12, you know? And I love that he's not overreacting. He's not super hard on him, but he's also not taking it easy, like, hey, you still have things you need to fix here. I love that. That's like a nice little happy medium, even though he's clearly frustrated, clearly a little uncomfortable with what actually happened out there, but that's the point of preseason, is to get this stuff in check.
Got some of those one-on-one losses for the defense on those second and third drives. Just how concerned should people be seeing your starters going against twos and threes from them and losing some of these one-on-one matchups? Does that matter, or is it kind of...
No, everything matters. Whether it's you know, that Stribling kid's going to be pretty damn good, and he's a big, strong receiver. Quarterback did a good job giving him a chance, and he won some one-on-ones. But you know, I'd love to tell you no concern, but it's definitely there's a sense of urgency with regards to making sure that we get it fixed, and we continue to put our guys in those situations in practice so that we can continue to get that work. But we'll never panic, but urgency will always be high.
I love that question from that reporter. I watch a lot of these coach interviews. If you're curious about other videos, feel free to check them out. Also, like, subscribe if you want to. But the interesting thing here that the reporter mentioned is, hey, you had your starters out there for offense and defense going up against the Niners' second string, third string players, and they were getting beat in some of these situations. How do you feel about that? How concerned are you? And once again, Saleh answered it perfectly. He was like, all of this matters. We have to take it into consideration. But he basically said we're not going to overreact to it either. Just because we're facing the guys we're facing, we're still working through some growing pains, and we will continue to grow and move forward. I do think it is a nice... In some ways, sometimes you like seeing, like, hey, we can still find a way to win these games, even though we are giving up a lot of yards on defense. and we didn't really let them score too many points either. And so even though you kind of know, hey, our defense definitely has some weaknesses, we're still able to lock in and only allow one touchdown in the entire game against their second and third string players. So once again, not something to overreact on and not freak out about yet, but something to, don't want to ignore.
Maybe about 20 plays on each side of the ball, somewhere in that range. What's your philosophy on playing stars in these games? How much it helps and how much it can help tonight?
It's part of the call it the ramp-up process at which we're operating. One, I do think we're really, really young, and I do think these guys need some game action, as you saw. Like we can't get our offense enough reps. Cam can't get enough reps, and then same thing with defense. On the secondary, we're implementing a whole new system, and they've got to be able to. They've got to feel it in live bullets. They've got to feel the angles. They've got to feel the tackling. They've got to feel the route concepts and the spatial and the distribution that we operate with. So, we need these reps in all three phases and all three groups.
As far as
And the key question there was really focusing on, like, hey, what's your philosophy on starting in general and starters playing in the preseason? And I agree with him. They are super young, and so it makes a ton of sense to give them more reps. I was surprised to see Calvin Ridley out there, though. Titans fans, let me know how y'all felt about this, but Calvin Ridley is not a young buck anymore, and actually the Titans have a decent amount of depth at receiver, so like if you did lose him, you still have multiple guys back there who I like as receiving options, but I was still surprised to see Ridley out there in this game.
Operation for you guys as a coaching staff, given all the different things, how did you feel like that went?
I thought everything went good. We had a really cool opportunity at the end of the first half to, off the missed field goal. We picked up a couple of yards, had a really cool short 2-minute situation that allowed us to get a field goal to give us an opportunity to lap them coming out of the locker room with the ball. I thought the challenge, I thought the operation in the booth for the challenge that we had, I thought it was good. I thought it was sound. It was close, but obviously we lost that one, but it was pretty close. And then, but overall, the communication, in preseason, not having too many on the field is a win. Not having 10 on the field is a win in a preseason. So I thought the communication from the sideline, I don't think we had any illegal formation today. I thought our procedure on offense was pretty good. Defensively, it felt like we played clean ball. We were gap sound, and special teams wise, I thought we did a really nice job. So overall, as an organization, I thought the operation was pretty clean.
Also, y'all, sorry this layout is kind of weird. Titans didn't post their videos to YouTube. Don't know why. It's a thing. It is what it is. But I like what Robert Saleh's saying here again. He's really just focusing on, this is what I really care about penalty-wise in the first early preseason games. Didn't have silly penalties. Didn't have people making silly mistakes. Coaching staffs weren't making silly mistakes. Taking this as a dub. And they actually did win, so makes sense.
Carmona, how much of that is testing him to see what he is and how much focus rewarding him for what he's done?
Yeah, it was his opportunity, and Carmona's doing a great job. He's he put his foot in the door, and he's doing his best to pry it open and blast through that thing. So he's done a nice job. I'm looking forward to seeing the tape to see how he performed. I feel like it was pretty good. Like I said, I thought all three groups ran the ball pretty well today, and so there's going to be a lot of good stuff to take from it.
Carmona's the backup guard as of right now. He might be a rookie. Let me double check. Yeah, he's a rookie 5th-round pick for the Titans. And so reporters just asking how they felt like he did. And Saleh has already kind of mentioned a few times he felt like the offensive line was pretty solid in this game. And so, can only say so much about the offensive line because you really do have to watch tape to really analyze what they were doing out there. Unless it was terribly bad, then it's obvious.
What has he done to kind of get your attention? What does he do well?
He's steady. He's very smart. He knows what to do. He communicates well. He executes. He's strong in there, so he's not getting pushed around. And you just want a steady guy. I always tell old linemen, just die a slow death, and you'll play a long time. And he's doing a great job just putting himself in position to be successful.
Good to see Joey settle down a little bit.
Yeah, Joey. I mean, how about that kid, man? had a rough blue and white game scrimmage, and he sees the wire, show a couple of workouts, and we had a couple of workouts here still on this road trip, and he has an outstanding practice, and he follows it up with a 58-yarder at the end to seal it, and it was perfect with his field goals and his extra points. So, I mean, just outstanding for him.
I'm talking about Joey Sly, Bigfoot kicker. I like Joey. Former Panthers. Well, I am a Panthers fan. He is a former Panther, and so I'm always rooting for those guys. But he has a hell of a leg. It's just consistency isn't always his strong suit, but I don't know. I like guys who can kick from far away and get some points on the board.
Any update on Harrell or any other things?
Yeah, they'll be evaluated. J.K. dealing with a pec. He'll get an MRI, and then Harrell, he had a knee. We'll get an MRI on him also.
All right, good stuff, Titans. And nice to see, like, just still overall momentum happening for Cam Ward. The appropriate level of critique, not too harsh, not too critical, but some slight frustration. Understandable here for a young kid. Appreciate the support, y'all. If you could, like, subscribe, always appreciate that. But if not, I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.